transfers actually in that starting lineup. Trey Dickerson from Iowa, Carlton Hurst from Colorado State, Trey Birch Manning from North Idaho College, Matt Mooney from Air Force, and of course Tyler Flack, who started his career here, is the lone senior on this squad for South Dakota. NDSU going with the 4-guard lineup really when you think about Jacobson. Kai Cabellas, Paul Miller, Carlin Dupree, and Dylan Miller will make the start once again at center. But expect to see Dexter Warner just a few minutes into the game. Head coaches, both in their third seasons at their respective institutions. Assistant for Tim Miles for many years. Also, when you think about Craig Smith, coached Mayville State to a national runner-up finish in 2007.
National Coach of the Year in the NAIA that year as well. He's done a great job piecing this Coyote team together. As you mentioned, transfers, holdovers. They are a team that nobody wants to face right now, especially in the league tournament.
Flack going to work right away on Dylan Miller. Up and under. Flack can't hit. Carlin Dupree secures the rebound for North Dakota State.
That's what North Dakota State's going to have to do with their perimeter players. Get on the glass, limit South Dakota's second chance opportunities. Dupree does a nice job to start the game.
Flack, 21 points at Omaha, had a really good game as Miller goes to work and shot an air ball on the baseline.
Now that's Flack's presence defensively. His length, his ability to contest shots around the rim. Something South Dakota missed, but at the same time developed some depth.
Manning lost the handle out to Hurst, and he drills the corner three.
Nice job by Manning to recover after he lost control of the ball, came down with it. Sets Hurst up for the open three. USD not a great three-point shooting team, but Jacobson turns it over right away.
So 2 stops for South Dakota, and the Yotes, again, had a really tough stretch, and you see the ball tipped there by Miller. Good job by Manning hanging on to that one.
But what you see is as Flack misses the fadeaway, if South Dakota can break down this North Dakota State defense off the dribble and get into the lane, they make themselves a much better perimeter shooting team. Something North Dakota State has to do is contain the dribble against the Yotes.
Miller with 9 on the shot clock, going right at Flack, out to Carlin Dupree for 3. That is off the mark. Jacobson battles for the offensive rebound. Miller a 3, yes.
Big time work on the offensive glass by Jacobson. Turns around, knew Miller was out on the three-point line. Set him up for the second chance opportunity.
Mooney, the little runner off the heel. Here comes Dupree pushing in transition and fouled by Dickerson.
You go back to the work of A.J. Jacobson on the offensive glass. He chased this down from the start. He comes in from the top of the key, and he knew Miller was setting up outside the three-point line. Those are the ones that hurt the most, the second chance opportunities from behind the arc.
North Dakota State jumped out to an 18-point first half lead at South Dakota about a month ago. The Bison able to hang on by a single point. Jacobson to the rim, lost the handle with the left. Here comes Birch Manning. The Yotes like to push. Hurst another 3. That one long. Flack, the offensive rebound. Mooney on the reverse, yes.
That's the presence of Flack securing second shot opportunities. One of those guys that can rebound outside of his area. You better get a body on him or he'll make you pay. USD switching a lot on the perimeter. They have the versatility to do it just as North Dakota State does. I think these two teams can match up better with other teams in the league. Probably as well as anybody.
Drives out to Miller. Quick ball rotation. Paul Miller another 3. Yes.
Boy, you hit the nail on the head, Brian. Quick ball rotation. 3 guys made the extra pass. Miller made him pay.
Paul Miller 2 for 2 from three-point range so far here early. Mooney had it taken briefly and then a jump ball. And on the possession, it will go to North Dakota State. Paul Miller tied him up.
Well, you go back to that last kick out. Cabellas, nice job by Miller, but 3 guys making the extra pass, and that allows that last defender to be a step late to contest Paul Miller. And I'll go back to Miller on this last one, as you talked about, Brian, getting on the floor, securing that possession. for North Dakota State.
Dexter Werner checking in for Dylan Miller. We'll see how Werner matches up with Flack. That'll be a matchup to watch. Our two players to watch here today. Inside, nice pass, Paul Miller to Carlin Dupree.
Great patience by Miller. Allows things to develop as Dupree springs free in the lane. Easy deuce.
Dickerson quickly to the basket. Boy, quick first step from Trey Dickerson.
Again, USD off the bounce. Dickerson just knifes through the heart of that North Dakota State defense. Easy finish at the rim.
Jacobson rises up for another three, and that is short. And on the possession will go to South Dakota. Tight one early. 8-7 the Bison lead. Paul Miller a couple of threes. This should be.
But at the same time, we've seen what he can do on both ends of the floor. They love having him back.
40 points, 10 boards, 5 blocks, and 57% shooting since he has come back from the injury. Hurst quick on the baseline. Oh, excuse me, that's Simpson that is checked in. Tristan Simpson, the freshman from Lincoln, Nebraska. Backdoor to Mooney, working around Werner.
Mooney, leading scorer for USD, just a guy that can do it off the bounce. He's also one of their better three-point shooters. Different offensive set now for North Dakota State, much more motion.
Cabellis up fake, takes a shorter two, and then leaves that one way short. Birch Manning picks up the rebound.
Talked about Birch Manning for USD. Very versatile, can defend on the perimeter. Not afraid to do the work on the glass.
Mooney underneath on Jacobson, and another bucket in the paint for Matt Mooney. He's got 6 points early here for USD.
Great job by Mooney without the ball, working on the weak side. Caught A.J. Jacobson sleeping, got across his face for the easy layup.
Cabellis, another three on the way, and this one rims off. Birch Manning tipped the rebound and then corralled it. Mooney feeling it for three. That's off.
And Mooney's one of those guys. He'll go to the heat check at times. He's not afraid to get his shots up.
Inside to Dexter Werner. Out now to Miller as we tick down towards 10 on the shot clock. Jacobson rises up for a three. That missed everything, but Dexter Werner there to pick it up, and that's 3 air balls now in the first 7 or 6.5 minutes for North Dakota State.
Well, credit Werner. Didn't take his eyes off the trajectory of the ball. Flack had turned his back to Werner. Werner was able to come up with it and got it up before the shot clock expired.
Mooney. Out to Birch Manning. They got 8 on the shot clock. Tied up as Cabellis came over to help, and on the possession will go to North Dakota State. Well, Jared Samuelson checking in for the first time.
And late in the possession, Cabellis knew that he could double down on that dribble penetration because the shot clock was winding down, realized Birch Manning was going to try to score it, able to tie him up on the dribble penetration.
Hurst back in, and we also for the first time seeing Tyler Hagedorn on the floor. Had a big game against North Dakota State in Vermillion. Miller another three, and that one knocked home again for Paul Miller.
Great read by Miller. His defender goes underneath the hand back action. You don't leave Miller uncontested on the three-point arc.
Simpson almost lost the handle. Another jump ball. That's 3 already.
Third time this game we've seen North Dakota State collapse on the dribble penetration. We talked about they have to keep this USD team who thrives on attacking the lane off the bounce. They have to keep them out of the paint. So far, so good for North Dakota State.
Mooney. Quick rotation to Peterson for three, and the freshman buries it. Tyler Peterson just 25% from three-point range, but it's a big one there.
And he has hit big ones for South Dakota at key times in key games.
Samuelson for three. Another one for North Dakota State. They got 4 triples already here in the first half.
Well, people will think, boy, that's gutsy for the freshman. I'll tell you what, if Samuelson doesn't take that shot, Coach Richmond doesn't play him. Samuelson knows why he's out there. He's the beneficiary of penetrate and kick.
Peterson again for 3. That one's off. Miller able to box out Hurst and keep the rebound.
Miller is scoring early, but I like him doing the dirty work on the glass and getting on the floor on the defensive end as well for North Dakota State.
Samuelson drives out of bounds, will stay with NDSU. Brandon Armstrong checking in, the freshman from San Antonio, Texas for the Yotes.
We talked about Simpson, Peterson, Armstrong. Got some youth on the floor. Hagedorn, the beneficiary of Flack being injured. Hagedorn got some key minutes and gained some critical confidence, adds some depth to this Coyote team.
Miller going to rise up again. That one missed. Peterson comes flying in from the perimeter for the rebound. Simpson, Peterson, to Armstrong.
Again, the more you see USD outside the lane, as longer these possessions go.
Block at the rim as Warner came over, and also Jared Samuelson.
Coach Smith not happy with the no call on that take by USD. A very strong take to the rim just got met there. No foul call.
Samuelson, another 3. The freshman from Gretna, Nebraska, has a pair of triples off the bench, and North Dakota State now 5 of 10 from long range.
And that's what he is out there to do. Cold-blooded for the freshman, as you mentioned, walk on.
Armstrong getting inside, blocked. Paul Miller went up and swatted that one.
Credit Miller for the recovery. He got beat off the back screen action, but recovered, and as you mentioned, knocks it off the glass.
Miller drives, fouled by Simpson. 10:29 to go here in the first half. Matt Mooney, a hot start for South Dakota. He's 3 of 5 from the floor with 6. North Dakota State and South Dakota, a series that dates back to 1922 and 1923. Remember when that started, Greg?
I do, yeah. Yep, I was only like 4 at the time, but yeah, it was. It's always been heated. Now it's back to the old North Central Conference days, and like you said, these at different times, both teams have had great runs of success.
North Dakota State 9-2 against the Yotes as Division I opponents.
Again, back to the dribble weave action for North Dakota State. Their success has come when they've been able to get inside the paint, set their shooters up.
Warner with 4 on the shot clock has to go to work on Flack. Goes to that right shoulder, bounced off. Flack with the rebound.
Again, the defensive presence of Flack. He's stronger than what he looks. Tough for Warner to go up against, and credit Flack for maintaining his ground, contesting the shot, forcing the miss.
Flack inside. Over Jacobson for 2. So Tyler Flack has his first basket.
And out of the timeout, that's one thing Coach Smith will do. He'll run a lot of those quick hit sets. He wanted to get Flack a touch, try to get him going. Just some screen action. He finished through the contact of Jacobson.
Tyson Ward into the game for the first time as well. The freshman, a career-high 22 points at IUPUI on Wednesday night.
Credit, there you got Samuelson with the turnover. Credit South Dakota defensively, their ability to sit down, contain the dribble. We talked about North Dakota State keeping USD out of the lane. USD has done a much better job now the last 4 or 5 minutes of really forcing North Dakota State to run their action on the perimeter. There you see Samuelson just drags his back foot. Turnover, and now South Dakota with a chance to tie if they hit a 3.
Trey Dickerson back into the game here for South Dakota. Flack rises up, kind of a wild shot, but he got it to fall.
That is a tough shot. It just demonstrates his athleticism. Kind of the step back for the 6'7" post player off the dribble. Finishes over Miller.
Ward cut off. So throw out in the backcourt to Miller as the Bison set up. And Flack there to alter that shot and block it.
Miller tried to take him off the dribble, but Flack, his presence, been absolutely critical. They're going to get an over the back foul.
I think it's on Carlton Hurst.
It just goes back to USD. Flack's presence. He anchors the backside. We go back and the take by the freshman. Not able to come down with it. They're saying Hurst is on top of a Bison player.
Bison still a 1-point lead, but no points in the last 2.5 minutes.
Look for NDSU to maybe run a set. They're going to get
a legal screen, I think, by Dupree, right, Greg?
Yep, Dupree, moving screen. You got to sit and wait and be stationary. Officials have really put an emphasis on cleaning up the action away from the ball, and that includes stationary screens and forcing teammates to use those screens.
Matt Mooney back into the game. Birch Manning also returns. So the starting unit back on the floor for South Dakota.
Credit USD defensively. North Dakota State has really cooled off on the offensive end.
Cabellis with the steal on the baseline. And taken back almost by South Dakota and then turned over. Miller tried to get it inside to Dylan Miller, and Flack took it away. Mooney to Flack underneath. Yes, plus the basket.
Well, USD has put a run on here. They came from about 5 down, take the lead, but early on it was North Dakota State from the 3-point line. Miller.
Greg, which is why they're in the position they're in right now.
They are. You look at those bottom numbers. They're both on the positive side of the possession game. They turn it over less than their opponents do, and that's where you see kind of a conflict of styles, or two similar styles meeting up against each other. Every possession matters. I know it's an offensive league, but boy, with these types of games, don't be surprised to see us have about 7-8 fewer possessions because of how important they are.
Flack now with 7 points in the first half for South Dakota. Miller, long range. That bounces high off the rim. Hurst grabs it.
North Dakota State trying to use Dylan Miller to set some ball screens on the perimeter and get Flack away from the basket. We'll see if they come back to that offensive type action here if they don't get anything in transition.
Kai Cabellis, and over and back as Dickerson kind of hounded him a little bit, and he bounced it off his knee.
Yeah, credit the activity of Dickerson. Cabellis didn't see him coming from behind, and Dickerson just kind of comes in, knocks it off his leg, and then Cabellis literally dribbles it off his foot, ends up in an over and back.
USD on a 7-0 run with the basketball, leading by 2. Mooney working off the screen, rises up and splash.
Just that quick down screen action. They enter to the high post on the one side. The other guy sets a quick down screen action for the opposite wing, and when it's Mooney, he's going to waste no time to rise up and fire off the screen action. Credit USD for silencing this crowd. Great crowd today in Fargo. They've got Dickerson now with a foul. But I'll tell you what, for the last 4 minutes or so, USD has silenced North Dakota State, and in turn, this crowd hasn't had much to yell about.
Dickerson will head to the bench with those 2 fouls as Simpson checks back in. The Bison, again, has not scored in 4.5 minutes. And USD on a 9-0 run have taken advantage of that.
And that's where, if you're Coach Richmond, do you run something to get Werner a touch close to the basket, or get something for Jacobson on the perimeter?
Cabellis. Dupree out to Cabellis. Boy, South Dakota taking the paint away from NDSU.
They really are. You watch how well they come together with their teammates on the dribble penetration. Under 10 on the shot clock.
Jacobson straight away 3. That's no good. Mooney skies for the rebound.
It's a good look, and they're going to get Ward a foul call as he kind of falls on the back.
First foul on Ward, and this scoring drought continues for NDSU.
Yeah, literally Ward just tripping over his own feet results in a foul call. the North Dakota State has to tighten up defensively because they're not able to get things done on the offensive end. They've got to find a way to stop USD continuing to add to this lead.
It's a blocking call on Jacobson as Birch Manning went hard to the baseline.
Credit USD the way they space themselves. Coach Smith, as we talked about, will run a fair number of sets, the actions when he wants to get certain guys a touch, but their spacing is so good. We've seen NDSU get hurt on the backside of their defense a number of times.
Boy, nice job on that pass from Mooney to Flack. It was blocked and then outside for three as Simpson missed it, but Hurst. Some bumping underneath between Birch Manning and Ward.
Well, you watch Flack. He's ready to just throw this thing down with authority. Dupree gets him from behind. Then you kind of see the action on the offensive glass, and Ward comes over the top. I'll tell you what, that's a pretty clean block by Dupree. Got to give him credit.
Mooney just using his strength and blowing by Cabellas. And this run continues now for South Dakota, an 11-0 run.
North Dakota State fans starting to realize, I'll tell you what, this drought has drug out their credit. The Coyotes and their defensive intensity, just sitting down, keeping everything in front of them.
Travel. John Yorkovich saying that is a travel on Dexter Warner, and that is a turnover here on North Dakota State, their 6th of the half.
And you go back and you look at Mooney, just kind of stood Cabellas up and then uses his strength to spin by him.
Jared Samuelson in for Cabellas. Back door to Hurst for the big finish. And a timeout for Dave Richmond.
Again, another set action by Coach Smith.
Mooney was the one that drove in to give the Yotes a 4-point lead late. But in the closing seconds, Kai Cabellas hits a big three to get within one, and then a couple of missed free throws for Mooney. And Dexter Warner hit a couple of free throws with 5 seconds left to win it by 1. Miller for three, short. Simpson, the carom.
Nothing is easy right now for North Dakota State. Again, the defensive effort of USD as Mooney with the runner.
Boy, how about what USD is doing right now to North Dakota State? Mooney's got 14 points. The lead is up to 10.
And I'll tell you what, USD is flat out tougher on both ends of the floor. Defensively, they're giving North Dakota State nothing. And offensively, they're just out executing North Dakota State.
Bison need a basket desperately. Werner cut off. Outside to Jacobson. Again, under 10 on the shot clock. The Bison have been in this situation a lot in the first half. Really? Dupree's got to do something with it. Jacobson with 1 on the shot clock. No. Werner battling for it will stay with NDSU, and I think it went off the foot of Simpson.
The official was right on top of that. That's one of those. It won't show up. It's going to be a team rebound. But Werner just kind of chases his down, and then you see Simpson's foot come in there late.
Boy, how about Tyler Flack?
There goes off Simpson's right foot.
How about what Tyler Flack has brought to South Dakota? It's been tough for North Dakota State to get anything inside here in the first half.
Well, with Flack protecting the rim, it allows you to get up and defend the dribble if you're USD. And you just see them. They're able to attack. And then Miller does draw the foul on the dribble penetration.
And that is the second foul on Hurst. 15 foul on NDSU. 29-19 the Yotes on a 15-0 run here in Fargo. Highlights and stats from the first half and scores from around the Summit League. That's coming up in 3:59 here on Midco SN.
Well, Paul Miller, 9 of North Dakota State's first 19. I just love the way USD right now is defending on the road and just out executing North Dakota State offensively.
Warner posting up Hagedorn. Short. Dengu also onto the floor for the first time for NDSU. The Bison have missed their last 7 shots. Dengu fouls Birch Manning.
And you just get the
boy, it's a little testy underneath right now.
Two teams kind of getting after each other. I'm sure USD, it didn't sit well with USD when North Dakota State came onto their home floor and got a hard-fought win. But Hagedorn, go back to Hagedorn and using his length to contest Werner's shot. Nothing easy. Hagedorn really developed a lot when Flack was out with his injury.
Long three for Peterson. No. Paul Miller the rebound.
North Dakota State, like I say, they have yet to solve this South Dakota half-court defense.
Dangu for three. Long.
Coach Richmond's got Gu on the floor. He's just looking for combinations, and Gu picks up his second foul. An and-one opportunity for Peterson, the freshman out of Osseo.
It's now a 17-0 run by USD.
Great take by Peterson, absorbs the contact. Gu, not the greatest stretch. He has a foul, comes down, misses a three, and then comes back with the late contest and allows Peterson a chance to complete the three-point play, which he does. And USD up 13, 3:07 to go. They have come into Fargo on a mission.
North Dakota State has not scored in the last 8 minutes.
Great job by USD defensively. All of North Dakota State's action sitting on the three-point line. They can't turn the corner anybody. USD's not giving them any seams to attack. Just love the flexibility that USD can bring to the floor defensively.
This fan base a little bit shell-shocked. Yeah. They don't know what to think about what's going on here. Samuelson into Werner. Dexter going strong to the basket, and one on Hagedorn.
Well, if there's a guy that's going to find a way to dig down and create something, they got. Credit Samuelson gets Werner the touch, and then Werner kind of waits for that help, the dig down to clear away, and then he faces up on Hagedorn and just explodes past him. Hagedorn late with the block, but boy, understatement of the year to say it was a much-needed basket for North Dakota State.
And the free throw rims out, so the lead stays at 11.
And if you're North Dakota State now, is there any spark lit on the defensive end to try to take some things away from USD?
Mooney working off a screen. Three Bison players went after it. Paul Miller a rebound.
Miller's done a nice job on the defensive glass, but I think North Dakota State's fortunate. Mooney had a clean look.
Miller floating in. Dexter Werner the offensive rebound. Quick ball rotation. Miller for three. No. Birch Manning the rebound, and Werner hit the deck.
USD with a numbers advantage here. Mooney still looking.
Mooney stepping in out to Hagedorn. He's going to let it fly for three. No good. Werner the rebound. Right. The Bison make a push in the last 150.
And if you're Dave Richmond, you want a quality possession.
And Cabellis, the lay-in to get it back into single digits. And Craig Smith will call a timeout with 1:45 to go until half.
Love the timeout by Craig Smith. He does.
Deion Hollins also close to a triple-double in that game.
Well, it's just amazing. I think you look at this league, those first-round matchups in Sioux Falls are going to be crazy because different teams match up differently. Anybody capable of beating anybody on any given night. USD coming in here with a ton of confidence. Can NDSU continue to close the gap before halftime, or does USD answer?
Flack fading away on Werner. Short.
Paul Miller, credit his work on the defensive glass. Now they run a set.
Miller driving baseline. Quick ball rotation. Samuelson for three. Long. Birch Manning another rebound. He's been all over the glass. 6 boards already in the first half for Birch Manning. Turnover. And then he gave it right back to Tyler Flack. Simpson thought about pulling the trigger for three.
Cabellis didn't have to get rid of that. Could have maybe used a timeout if he wanted to. Just kind of threw it up for grabs. And now USD a chance to realize they've got a chance to do 2 for 1 here also if they get a shot up quick.
Mooney spinning. And a foul plus the basket. And how about the first half for Matt Mooney?
Well, Mooney's so strong. His ability to not only get his shot up, but then off the dribble. I've always said you got a defender giving ground. The offensive player initiates the contact. Who gained the advantage on that contact? And that's the definition of a foul. But credit Mooney. for finishing through the contact.
Lead back to 12. Samuelson going to pull the trigger for another three. That one's short. So Samuelson a couple of early threes, but has missed his last two, and now South Dakota can play for the last shot, leading by 12.
USD, like you say, guaranteed to go in with a double-digit lead, answered that little mini run of North Dakota State.
And Mooney a long three! What an exclamation point to this first half for South Dakota. And they lead by 15 at the break. Wow.
Well, you come down here, they're going to set an on-ball screen for Mooney, and Mooney says, you know what? No thanks. I'm going to pull up from right here and